Hello viewers and welcome to my new video. Today I would like to talk about a very important subject actually, because it's about staying fit as a performer and how important it is to stay fit if you are a performer. I realize that some people perhaps don't do this, don't do anything, and they kind of somewhat go through the motion, as they say. But actually, when I think about this, if you want to sustain some kind of a career, whether that be a paid or hobby or whatever, you want to play gigs, you want to play live, if your music is quite energetic, especially, and if it requires you to move on stage, to be, engaging with your audiences, uh, and things like that, then you need to keep yourself in shape, right? So effectively, here's what I do personally, and I've been doing that for some time. I love cycling, so I would go out when the weather is nice, depending on the time of the year actually. Because like say for example, in the 6 months, in some like those summer months, say, I would be out on a bike every weekend, probably at least once in a weekend, and then I would be going sort of maybe a couple more times during the week as well. And on top of that, I would be doing quite a lot of walking. I would be, when the weather is worse, so maybe sort of like winter months, I'll still be going on the bike, maybe not as often, but I would be doing quite a lot of walking, hiking, things like that. So finding alternative forms of moving my body around effectively, and finding something that will sort of keep me going, keep me moving. Another thing that I do is weight training, resistance training. So effectively, I also use my own body weight exercise. So like push-ups, pull-ups. I also use, like I said, some weights. So train my muscles sort of overall as well. So to keep my muscles working and going, and applying some resistance to the movement. So that's really important for me as well. So that way, I suppose this is kind of my routine and what I do. I must admit that when I hit the stage, for example, that kind of maybe an hour, a half an hour to an hour performance on stage for me is really becomes really easy. In fact, I'm like full of energy, to be honest with you, because if I exercise, if I work out, if I do all these different things. So for example, if you compare a 3 hour bike ride, for instance, which involves a lot of climbing, hills, and actually this is like a proper cardio, it's an endurance exercise effectively. So you learn, your body learns how to kind of be able to do it for a prolonged period of time. When you get on that stage, effectively, it sort of seems like a piece of cake, like a really easy activity, even though it is still like a workout, because I've always considered actually being on stage is like a workout. You sweat a lot. There's obviously the lights. I know maybe the technology is changing now with LEDs and all that, but to be honest with you, since I've remembered, these lights are very hot. They on you. You move, you begin to sweat. If you want to do a few runs on the stage, things like that, then effective, or jumps or whatever, you name it, it all adds up, and it is a physical exercise when you're on stage. It's not just that you kind of just play or sing or whatever, but it actually takes a lot of energy to do it, which is why I think it's very important to exercise, to have some kind of a workout routine built into your days, because that way you'll be able to sustain it for longer. You definitely, when you go on that stage, you'll just be feeling so energized. You won't be tired. You won't be, just so some people just get really tired. They get off stage and they're like, oh my goodness me. But it doesn't happen. I still feel it, but it's so much better for the fact that I do all these other things outside of music. As part of preparing for this video, I actually looked up the guy who is probably one of the best people in that respect. He's, I think, 79 now. Mick Jagger from the Rolling Stones. You will be familiar with him. He still looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't he? Because he keeps slim, his body, you know, and also he's still kind of slim but toned, and he keeps fit. And I was reading a few articles actually, and watching a couple of YouTube videos in preparation for my own video today, and actually realize how much exercise he actually does in order to stay in shape. I think the Rolling Stones did actually a tour last year in 2022, and they're still going. You know, I think he was like 78 at the time, and still dancing. You know, I don't know. Some of the shows are really long. You know, I don't know, 2-3 hours. I don't know how long they last, but they're not short shows. And from what I can understand is that his exercise routine involves running, also some cycling, perhaps some spin classes, you know, some indoor cycling as well. He does some swimming also. He does walking. He also does yoga and also aerial yoga. So this is when you are kind of suspended in the air and do that. So stretching, you know, all these different things. So he, and also weight training, weight exercise on top of all that. So actually, you know, he really keeps himself in shape. And what important thing obviously is diet also, because his exercises won't, you know, I suppose this is more about losing weight and that kind of thing. But of course, we all know that you need to have some kind of a calorie deficit. Like if you eat too much and then don't exercise alone, will not stop that. Will not stop you from sort of putting weight on, I suppose. But effectively, in order to keep fit, physically fit, also, you know, diet sort of helps with that. And but yeah, effectively, those are my recommendations, I suppose, advice to all of you. If you are a performer and you want to carry on and continue performing on stage, and you know that this can be a physical workout, it's actually very good to do some other physical types of activity, physical workout outside of the music arena, and actually keep your body in shape. So if you've got any tips like that, please let me know in the comments as well, in terms of what routine you use as well. I would be really keen to find that out. And thanks very much for watching the video. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video.